Hey, everybody, listen. I'm glad y'all came here. I thought I was gonna be here by myself doing this Real Housewives of Beverly Hills recap. I listen, somebody said the other night they was like, you're gonna be a late night with Diva. This is for real, late night with Diva, okay? I never started this late, but I said tonight I had to go to my son's honor society induction. We had a good time. They kept it to an hour, but it still seems so long because they got to call so many names. But I'm here. We're going to chat, okay? We're going to chat about this Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And next week is the season finale, and all I can say is OMG. Plum, I'm glad you're in the building, okay? Hey, Flip, and thank you, thank you, thank you. On our way. Listen, next celebration is going to be 20K. At 20K, we'll have the 20K party, okay? Prizes and everything. So, we got time before we get there. Hey, Fifi, thank you, and thanks for being a member. And thank you, thank you. Yes, my son is doing a good job. This is his last year of high school. So I'm gonna be sending him off to college. He's my one and only. I'm gonna be crying. I'm gonna need a whole box of tissues because I'm so used to it being just us. But I gotta let him grow, right? Gotta let him, see what the world is about, and make sure that he's utilizing all the tools that I gave him. You got to let him go. It's really hard. I'm not ready. I'm not ready at all, but I gotta let him fly, right? I gotta let him do his thing. But and we're still trying to decide, like he's still in between like what college he's gonna go to. But I'll support it. I don't mind whatever college, but I did tell him you're not gonna just go to a college out of state, and a college in state will give you the same major and it's cheaper. We're going to go for the nicest school for in the most economical route. Okay, but let's get into this Real Housewives of Beverly Hills recap. Okay, so it starts off with Dorit. She's actually, Dorit is talking to her daughter. Her daughter is adorable. I mean, she is just. I love the relationship that Dorit has with her children. And I actually, you know what? Even though her and PK are who they are, I do love them together, right? So Dorit calls Kyle, and Kyle is off doing the movie Halloween. And she calls her because Kyle missed Crystal's party. She missed Crystal's party because she was working. So she called her, and pretty much Dorit was telling Kyle, what happened at Crystal party, how Lisa Rinna left. And Kyle was pretty much like, just summarizes. She said, I just don't want to fight with Kathy anymore. So it seems like Kyle rather avoid conflict. And here's the thing, you got to deal with conflict head on, right? You got to address it. You got to just get in there. And Kyle seems, and I can see, and we're going to get into the whole Kathy thing because a lot of people are not agreeing with me with this Kathy situation, and it's okay. But I think when conflict, you can't run from conflict, right? And I'm not saying that all the time you have to be in the middle of it, but you do have to address it, and you should especially address it when it comes to your sister. So Miss Gigi said, it will hurt, but you done a good job. He's yeah, he's ready, and you will be too. Been there, done that, and I survived. Well, Miss Gigi, thank you for that. Okay, so yeah, but if I come on crying in June, well, actually, June is graduation, but he probably won't leave for college until August. So if I'm shedding tears, you know why. Okay, so but thank you for that piece of advice. I do appreciate it. So you have to address conflict. You can't run from it. You can't hide from it. And it seems like, unfortunately with Kyle and it's her sisters, right? They just seem like their relationships were fractured from like childhood, like a long time, okay, that they all been having problems. We've seen it happen. Hey, Marcella. How you doing, boo? I'm glad to see you here. Thanks for stopping by. So it seems like Kyle has had fractured relationships with Kim Richards, okay? And now we see that she has a really fractured relationship with Kathy Hilton. And it's like when you have bad blood in your own family, and then you're trying to work together under a pressure cooker, so to speak. Because listen, doing a reality show is not for the faint of heart. You have really got to be some type of strong to put your life out there. And now you're putting your life out there with your family members that you don't get along with. So, her and Kathy, we saw the first season that they tried to make amends. They tried to get things together. And then, boom, here comes this season. And again, they just couldn't keep, the forgiveness that they did at the reunion. It just did not stick. And Marcella, thank you for that. Yes, everyone, as you come in, please hit that like button. I truly appreciate it. So Miss Gigi said this episode's up to Rinna. Kyle and Kathy seem disjointed. The Richard sisters have deep trauma. That's what it was trying to say. Thank you, Miss Gigi, for saying that. Yes, they have deep trauma. Rinna, step out. You are no one's counselor. She is not anyone's counselor. And we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. You have to face, yes, Miss D. Green. You have to face conflict sometimes because it can be a test for you as a person more than an actual issue. I agree with that. Facing conflict can help you grow. Yes, it can help you grow, right? And because Kyle just doesn't want to address Kathy head on, she's so afraid because Kathy, I don't know if people are not seeing between the lines. Kathy is a piece of work. Kathy seems just a little off just a little bit. Miss D, yes, she does. Yes, she does. And I'm like, is anybody else seeing this but me? Kathy hands aren't clean. Kathy ain't the sweet little person that was introduced to us last season, the fan favorite. No, there's a different side to Kathy. And I think even though you may not like Rinna, Rinna might be telling the truth. Hey, Mel, you're in the building. What's going on?
Hey, Diva, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You listen, I was happy that you showed up. And we talked earlier. I said, I can't wait.
Kyle needs to learn. She really does have to learn how to address conflict. And she's really bad at it, even when she's trying to take a different side amongst the ladies. And she's horrible at it when it comes to her own sister, Kathy. But, Kathy is a piece of work. Okay. Kathy is a definite piece of work. Tugga, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Rinna said it herself. Same situation, different sister. Yeah, but Rinna was messy with that. It's the same situation, Rinna, because you keep putting your nose up in their business and you make things worse than what it could possibly be because you are egging Kyle on, telling Kyle that her own sisters don't love her. This is deep-rooted hate between them. Marcella, it most certainly is, right? It is deep-rooted. It's so deep-rooted that I don't know that it was best for them to actually, be on this reality show together because I think it's making it even worse.
What they giving?
Go ahead, Mal. No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say they're giving the Teresa and Joe in New Jersey kind of vibe, that kind of deep-rooted kind of thing. But I want to say this too: how many times have we seen the Queen, Yellow Van Zandt, have a mom, an older lady, call her out to help with her family, with her daughters? They had many episodes like that. And they go, I don't know what to do. My daughters are going crazy. And they fighting and fussing. And then yelling, turn around to the mother and slap the table and said, no, mother, you're the one that created these problems. Now, mind you, Cal, Kim, and Kathy's mom is gone. So, Cal, Kathy's mom is gone. So she can't really talk to her. But I think that their mother is the one that's responsible for all these problems. That, whatever happened in that family, it was totally unbalanced and crazy. And now that we have these fighting sisters, so I think that Lisa, she senses the opportunity for a storyline, so she uses it and exploits them. And Kyle, for me, is a little stupid because she lets Lisa use her for storyline every couple of years.
Yes, she does. She's so gullible, right? So Fifi said, yes, I see it. Kathy has a little gangster crazy. Yes, she does. However, I still like her. Hey, Marcella, long time, long see. Look at you. Look at beautiful.
You're my favorite. You're my favorite gray hair diva. I remember when you was a babe. Girl, you done got up there.
Listen, before you say anything, Marcella, how's your husband doing? Is everything going well?
He's doing fine. We've seen some little things going on, but he'll be tested again in November to see if his count has went down. He's resting, and you know, his urine is a little bit of brown that concerns us. And we're just calling the oncologist and making sure that he's okay. And they said give it a couple of more weeks and we'll see.
All right. Well, God bless. I'm praying for you. I've been watching you. I love your pictures you have with him. And yes, I love him. But go ahead. So what do you want to add to this conversation?
This is what I wanted to say. I think Kathy feels that Kyle has embarrassed the family. Remember when she back in the day when she used to treat Kim like she was babysitting her and trying to cover up her alcoholism, and then she took the house right up from under Kim. And then, but now Rinna is stepping into a mine, because everybody on this page better realize blood is thicker than water. Yes, and in LA and Hollywood, Hollyweird, they will pretend to be back together, and Rinna will be plopped out of that town. Harry's secrets will come out. Rinna don't know who she's playing with. Hey, Rinna don't know who she's playing with, because then you got Paris, you got all these people that will make Rinna not accepted among the socialites in Los Angeles. She better watch what she's playing with Kathy Hilton. But I'm going to tell you something about Kathy. I think Kathy has a little mean side.
Yes, she does.
Yeah, you know how she was over there at the other wives' house, and she said, "Where's the food? I walk over here to your house, and all you have is crackers." You know, I think that they know she's a little cuckoo, and she might be sipping. And you know, do you know that she actually lives on her own side of the house with a manservant? You know, Kathy lives on her own. You know, the house is big, but she has her own side that looks just like a modern, you know, family home. And she stays on that side. So you can tell. Yeah, but you know what? You don't see much of her husband. And guess what? She has to remind Kyle, you made money as a child star, but my husband Rick put Mauricio on, and now and now you're getting too big for your pants. And now, Kyle, you're gonna approach me with Rinna?
Yeah,
Kyle, they barking up the wrong tree with Kathy Hilton, because, honey, Kathy, I love you. Your hotels are the best. I love you. I'm gonna go back in the chat.
All right,
hi, Flip. Hi, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye. So, Fifi said, that's what I said, Marcella's speech. Rinna pours gasoline, lights a match, and stands there. She's playing a dangerous game. Oh, Rinna is playing a dangerous game. But you know what, though? Rinna is used to playing that dangerous game. And Bravo used to reward her big time for it. It just so happened that she's now totally out of control. So they're trying to reel her back in. It's the same thing they did with Nene. They allow Nene to run amok, and then when they get tired of it, they want to put you out the pasture and throw you in the trash. So that's what they're doing to Rinna now. They kind of have the same thing. They're sick of Teresa Giudice on Real Housewives of New Jersey. So they do it to all of their favorites, right? If their favorites gets too out of control, they want to reel them back in. And if they don't reel back in with ease, they lose their natural mind. And then they end up either getting demoted to a friend of, or they no longer on the show. So Rinna has been pulling these shenanigans for years. Yes, Flip. They created a monster, and now they can't control her. Same thing they did with Nene. You create these monsters, allowing them to think they could do whatever they want to whoever they want. Because listen, Rinna got away with it for years, right? She did it to Lisa Vanderpump. She did it to her own friend of 20 plus years, Denise Richards. So why would she stop with Kathy Hilton? But like Marcella said, Kathy Hilton, she bumped into the wrong one because that lady has uber cash in tons of influence. So anyway, if we go back and Dorit was telling, Kyle, that, Rinna left because Rinna, she was so, upset about what your sister said, and she just couldn't take it anymore. So she left. And, she, was telling everybody that she was just, Rinna was telling, Crystal, that Kathy was just out of control. We know since season 1 that the Richards sisters have deep family issues. I think their mom, Big Kathy, put a lot of responsibility on Kathy to help raise Kim and Kyle. That is possible because, it has happened in a ton of families, right? Where the older siblings, and even if they wasn't that much older, sometimes took on like a parent role, because that's just the way the dynamics were, and that's just what happened. So now Erika talks to this therapist via Zoom, okay? She has a therapist via Zoom, and Erika is another one. She knows how to play the game, right? Because Erika, you all of a sudden to speak to your therapist, you're not glammed up. You come plain face, no makeup on, no nothing. And here's the thing, Mel, we got to chat about this. Some of the things that Erika was talking to the therapist about, I kind of get it, right? So I get the fact, because listen, forget about all of the other shenanigans that are going on with Erika. Divorce alone is a lot to deal with. So Erika is dealing with divorce. She's dealing with scandal. She's dealing with a lost, extravagant lifestyle. She's dealing with all of these things combined into one. And she is also dealing with the fact that everybody's pointing a finger at her saying, you know what? How dare you not care for the victims? Now, just because I understand all that she's dealing with, I don't agree with the way that she's handling it. I think that her trials and tribulations could have been shortened if she simply would have just gave a darn about the victims. If she would have said, you know what? Take my clothes, sell them off in the auction. Here are the diamond earrings. What else can I give to help make these victims whole? And then still talked about the way that she was grieving. And, because she said, listen, I think, what did she tell that therapist? She said, she said, I'm going to say something that's not popular. She said, but I was harmed also. So she said, and as a result, I'm easily provoked. So what did you think about that whole therapy session, Mel, that Erika had with her therapist, with her plain face on, which I think was trying to get sympathy from us, not being glammed up for this therapy session? What did you think about that? And thank you, Mims.
Oh, well, you know what? I think she learned her lesson from last year, not to be in full face when you have an emotional scene, because if you start crying, your makeup start running, people will drag you. So she's like, you know what? If I start coming up here doing stunts and shows and play acting, my face will not be melting on screen, and people won't be dragging me for my makeup. But I think that, listen, I think that even somebody who marries for an arrangement can probably have some kind of real legitimate feelings of loss. I do feel that.
Yeah.
I don't think that she's a monster. I think that she is like many other individuals, whether man or woman, who see somebody who's doing very well, and you have an idea of what your life is going to be, and it didn't work out that way. Now, I'm not sure when she knew that he was doing, shady things. I don't know. We don't know. We probably would never know. But I do believe that that some of what she was saying was legitimate. That she definitely had some legitimate. I like the fact that she owned that she was shocked, and that's why she sort of acts in a way that she knows is wrong. You know, to be so hard, to be so harsh, to always be so mean all the time. As I said many times when I came to your show, I said I just don't like it because she's mean. So I like the fact that she says, you know, it's because of the situation she's doing this. It almost feel like she couldn't even stop herself from being the way she is.
I was feeling that way too. But you know what? When they pan back to some scenes with Tom, Tom he was mean. He was mean. When they showed just those couple of scenes. Now, this man, to me, if you know you being filmed and you can't control the way you speak to someone, that means that's who you really are. And he was pretty mean. Did you see when they span back and he was pretty much like, shut up, Erika, I'm talking.
Mm-hmm.
But see, the other problem is too, but a lot of people that are in, I'm going to say abusive relationships, because, you know, you can be in a verbally abusive relationship or a physical abusive relationship. And I think there definitely was some verbal abuse with Tom, because the way that he felt so free to tell her, like, listen, shut up, I'm talking. I do believe he had a mean streak to him.
Well, you know
but,
what? I do believe that it was an unhealthy relationship, because I'll never forget the season when Dorit first came, and it was the Pantygate. And I remember in wherever they were on their trip, she had a meltdown on the tape when she yelled at Eileen, because she said, if my husband finds out exactly what's going on with this Pantygate, I mean, it's gonna. She seemed deathly afraid of him finding out exactly about these people seeing her without no panties on, and all this kind of story. So that I will never forget that scene. That all her anger, as she was begging Dorit and her husband to apologize to him.
Yeah.
So to make her home very happy. There was some fear there. So we kind of, as viewers, knew, oh, wait a minute, there's something a little darker going on in that marriage. Because, you know, if for style reasons, you know, grown women can put on underwear or not. It's a woman's prerogative, you know. So for her husband to have, you know, the idea is for him to have a really harsh reaction to it was a little like, ooh, that's a little murky there. I never forget that.
I do. Yeah, when they pan back, I was like, yeah, there was problems in that relationship. And I go back and forth, but I will lean a little heavy on the side that maybe she didn't know a lot of it from the maybe at the beginning. I do believe at some point she knew something, but she was already hooked, you know, into the lifestyle and sold into it and bought into it, that what was she going to do? So I don't believe. Go ahead, Mel.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know what? And you probably watch New York City too. You know how many scenes we've had Ramona and all of them be at the party whispering. You remember the time when Luann was getting ready to get married again, and one of her friends, Barbara, was whispering to Karen. She said, "Well, this is what all her friends are thinking." I think that in Erika's circle, they do that too. I think they go, you know, we've heard about these lawsuits. I think that's some of the stuff that they don't really show on Beverly Hills, but I think in those circles, they all know each other's business. They all know about the lawsuits and the scandals and the whispers. And that's why sometimes I look at Erika with the side eye, because just the way in New York City with Luann and all, the girls know everything about each other. Just the way that society that they run do that kind of stuff. And I think even in Beverly Hills, they do the same thing. They don't feature it as much on Beverly Hills as I wish they would. But I feel strongly that, yeah, they all whisper about each other. And they go, have you heard about that lawsuit? It was filed on Monday. They know the time, the date, and they know everything.
But you know why I believe that, Mel? Because remember, Erika said, she was like, oh, so we're just going to talk about my bad behavior and nobody else's. And remember her confessional last week. She said sometimes the people with the most stuff is hiding the most secrets.
Mm-hmm.
And in my head, I was like, you all know. But I really think she was alluding to some other cast members.
Yeah, just like we said, they all know each other's secrets. They all know in Hollywood, in that circle, they all know who files what, who's getting divorced, what's going on. Even that's why most of the series, they go, well, with Phaedra, let's talk about the iconic Phaedra. She said, well, I'm not the one with all these lawsuits to Cynthia. They all know each other's business. So I don't feel like the wife would be so shocked at the idea that he was committing these alleged crimes all the time. That's why.
That's true. Like I said, I do believe at some point she knew.
Yes. Oh yeah.
But I don't. The question is, at what point did she know? Right.
Yeah.
Who say, Kate? That therapy session was a joke. A good therapist doesn't co-sign your BS. Mm-hmm. You know, I've been to therapy a lot. And I think a lot of what the therapist was saying to her in terms of loss, it definitely is correct, right? We, even regardless of how her husband turned out to be, she did lose the idea of who she thought her husband was, right? You know, and so she told me to stop it. No, but here's the thing. We don't know exactly when Erika found out. I don't think from the very beginning she got married and knew this man was just a thief. I don't believe, right? Now, how far into the marriage did she know? The way when they panned back in the way that Tom was talking to her, I don't know if she knew. I think towards the end she might have known because, as you said, Mel, the town talks. But I think the way he was hushing her and shutting her up, I think that Erika might not have known for a long time. That's just, I'm going back and forth, but that's just my thought process right there.
Yeah.
Who said case at least is desperate for people not to look at her or her fake family. That's one reason. In my opinion, she's going after the richer sisters. But you know what? Who said Kate? She goes after whomever to make sure she keeps that Real Housewives of Beverly Hills paycheck. She doesn't care who she tears down, Rinna, because like I said, her and Denise Richards were truly, truly friends. And for you to go ahead and stomp on a 25-year friendship because you're not going to lose that Real Housewives of Beverly Hills check, that's like, whoa. And how can you not know that $25 million was going into your account? No, I think, see, here's the thing is, I think she knew that 25 million was going into the account, but the idea is, did she know that it was stolen money? I don't know. Like I said, I go back and forth and in and out on it because I don't know if there's lawyers out there that are living in mansions like they were living and living the way that they're living. I don't know if those type of lawyers are few and far between, or are they, like a dime a dozen? I don't know. Like, so you would have to know a little something to understand, like, if this story can be believable or not, that all of his money was coming from the work that he was doing at the law firm. So I don't know what type of cases he had or was telling her that he had, that he was constantly having access to this type of money so they can have private jets and so that she can have a glam squad following her to, London, here and there, whatever. And she's paying for all of the glam squad to go first class and so forth and so on. I don't know that. I mean, here's what we do know though. We'll never get the truth out of Erika. Like, her lips are sealed. So LVP lost her mom, brother, and didn't get nasty. Rinna seemed like she had bipolar traits. Tom used Erika. He played Erika and she got stuck with the crap. Tom in the nursing home laughing. I mean, is possible he did use Erika. And I really do feel like though,
you know what I would say for me?
Yeah, go ahead now.
I was gonna say for me, the thing that was conflict me with Erika is that from day one when she first got there, she built her character as a woman who can clock anything. If a cast member was on that cast and they were faking or fronting or even giving her shade, she would say, I'm so smart, I can catch everything you're doing. So I think that once you've gotten used to that character all these years of being too cool for school, smart about everything, always be able to be a couple of steps ahead of most of her cast members. So it was hard for me to believe that she had a blind spot when it came to her husband, because when it came to other girls, she was like, "No, I see what you're doing. I'm LVP's."
I see what you're saying.
She just always came up like she was a know-it-all. She came up like she was so smart. She was like, "I know what everybody's doing." That kind of attitude. So then she would say, "But I don't know everything," and he caught me. So I don't know. That was the hard thing for me because Erika was always the one that was saying, "I know everything, and you can't trick me." Basically,
right? You know what it seemed like to me where Erika does or was doing. The way that Tom would shut her down and be so flippant and nasty to her, she would do that to the other ladies because she could never do it to him. That's kind of what I'm seeing. I got to look at this thing a little bit more though. So as he said that Why would your lawyer husband transfer that kind of money? No way would I accept 25 million into my account. But if it's from your husband, and let's just say your husband was a LeBron James or a Kevin Hart, someone that you know has that type of money, you still wouldn't accept the $25 million into your account? I mean, I would. It's my husband. I don't know, Mel, would you? Are you going to question the money from your spouse?
I will. Well, what would the son say? I would do a forensic scrub of that money. I wouldn't want to know exactly where that money came from. I want to know the etymology of that $25 million. And then I say, if it's clean, I will accept it.
So TLNAF said, hello, Diva. Oh, Erika knew exactly where that money was coming from. She is a great pretender. 25 million into my account. Of course, I would know where the money came from. LOL. You know, here's the thing. Like I said, I go back and forth, and somebody agree with you, Mel. Ms. D. Green said you're very true. So the reason why I go back and forth is because Erika is full of it somewhat, right? Because I also remember her saying that she didn't handle the money at all, that she even gave her Bravo check to Tom, and he kind of paid everything and did everything. Remember the season where the whole season she was in the hot seat? She said her claim was that, you know, she gave even her Bravo check. He paid everything. So it's one of these stories where Erika, where we're not going to know until we know.
And you know what I would say too? That's the most frustrating part of Beverly Hills. I think me was saying that unlike other shows, it seems like they have more questions than they have answers. And
Yeah.
I think that one of the best parts, even as scandalous as it was with Phaedra and Portia and Candy, with that big blow up happened with the the rumor, we at least had a conclusion of that saga. On this show, the girls would say, we're friends with everybody, but we know that there's a couple of you who are really close, but that's still a question mark. And whether or not you are microaggressing Garcelle or doing certain things to other cast members, that's a question mark. We don't know the answer to Erika, what she knew. We might not even know what happened with Kathy and with Lisa Rinna. So I think for me, what I'm getting frustrated with Beverly Hills, they give me a lot of questions and they don't give me answers. And I think that might be sloppy producing. So I feel maybe producers are a little more, hands off with them because of their money and power. But I feel like they should treat them the way they treat the other cast, where they can be very invasive. They show up wherever they secretly mic them. Sometimes those sort of what happened with Garcelle's, Giselle's father, when he was like, I don't like that her boyfriend. And
Yeah.
Come on, okay, you got it. Come on. So
you know what though? I think it is. I really think it's Kathy Hilton and Kathy Hilton's money, because if I have that book that the guy wrote, the expose book on all the Real House franchises,
Mm-hmm.
Kyle and Kim, they did not want that scene from season 1 where they fought in that limo. They begged. They didn't ask them. They begged Bravo not to show it, but Bravo showed it. But you see now with Kathy Hilton, because she got Hilton money, I think they're recutting and chopping up things, and it's not making sense to us because they're doing it for her. Tugger, see, you reminded me, and this is where, you know what, I'm gonna flip back to the other side with Erika, but because you're right? She said, I don't know how to feel about Erika because she was lying about her husband's accent. See, I forgot about that quick, right? She just kept lying. Had she told the truth in the beginning, I could rock with her. And Tugger, you brought me back. You woke me up. I'm better now. Okay, I guess I was half asleep for a minute there, but you are correct. That whole scene with Tom, she was not telling the truth. But again, can we maybe lean towards a little bit and say that Erika Jayne was probably in some way, shape, or form, and that doesn't mean it had to be physical, an abusive, manipulative, conniving relationship. I really think that Tom was a piece of work. I mean, did you see that scene when they panned back and the way he was being dismissive and talking to Erika all kind of sideways? Even Lisa Vanderpump was looking like, wow. Was that? Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was going to say, you know what? You bring up a good point. You abusive relationship doesn't have to always be physical. It can be very mental. I was reading. I used to like this show called the Girls Next Door with the Playboy Bunnies. And now, so years after that relationship with Hugh Hefner, those women are talking about the same thing. Like, we live in the house, we a piece of property. We, of course, didn't know his history. We didn't know what he did. We didn't even know how he booked us and sort of mess up our money and stuff like that. So those girls really go in detail about how you can be in a relationship with somebody and be treated in an emotional abusive way. And it took them a couple of years in therapy to figure out that it was actually an abusive relationship mentally. So, but again, I think Erika's smarter than those ladies, by far. But yeah, she definitely has some emotional abuse. Allegedly, some emotional difficulties with her ex-husband.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling that way, and I'm kind of feeling that she's dealing with this situation the best way that she knows how, and at the very least, whether it's true or not, it seems believable. She does try to make amends. She does apologize. She does, own up to her mess. And which is more than I feel like Kathy Hilton is doing. But we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. So, Lisa, now what part did I want to get to now? Oh, so Erika has the Pretty Mess Hair pop-up shop, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And she has this pop-up shop. Now, here again is what I'm going to give to her. I'm going to give to her that, you know what, you do have to carry on with life. Because if you stay in this sunken place, so to speak, it could drag you down all the way in the gutter. So somehow you got to manage to wake up every day, carry on in spite of everything that is going on around you that just seems like the walls are caving in and closing in, right? So she has this Pretty Mess Hair pop-up shop. I thought it was smart that she invited the ladies and their stylists, because listen, their stylists can potentially buy some hair and like the hair and use it not only for them but for their other clients. So I thought that was a good idea.
Yeah.
They felt like, listen, which we know is true, and they're going to try to get to the bottom of this next week for the season finale. They want to know who's leaking out information to the press, okay? Because all of a sudden people are getting information about stuff that happened at the Aspen trip and the Kathy Hilton meltdown. Now, this is where I've been fighting with people all day long, okay? People are, hi, Brian, hi, everybody. People are acting as if, Kathy Hilton, just had a little rant and it's all good. No, Kathy Hilton says silence is golden. And she says silence is golden for a reason, because Kathy Hilton breakdown. Now, I don't know if I'm going to connect with Rinna when she called it a psychotic, it was a psychotic episode, and that Kathy Hilton has a black heart. I don't know if I want to go that deep. But I do want to say that I truly do feel like Kathy Hilton said more than she wants to own up to. And Kathy Hilton is not the innocent little hunky-dory person that we saw in the first season of her being on the show, right? But Lisa Rinna, I don't know. I think she didn't think that they was going to keep this in. I thought she might have thought they was going to edit it out. She whispers to Dorit after Dorit told us that she loved her outfit, that it was rented. I was like, oh, okay. She said, it's Tom Ford. She said, I'm rented. You can rent anything. So that proves to you that Lisa, but everybody suspected that, right? So that is why, that is why I think Lisa Rinna runs around acting like the circus clown on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, because she cannot afford to lose the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills check. I think out of all of them, I don't know for sure. I'm gonna say, allegedly, that Lisa Rinna is probably the one in the worst position financially. She really needs that check, where I think others might be okay if that check ended for them. So Emmanuel said, Diva, don't go so hard on my girl Kathy Hilton, LOL. Listen, when Kathy Hilton first arrived on the scene, I was in love with Kathy. I thought she was a great friend of. I was having so much fun with her. But now we're getting to see the other side of Kathy, right?
But you know what?
And, yes,
now. Not to cut you off, I was going to say, you know what? I think that the most realistic depiction of Kathy Hilton was actually in her daughter's documentary. Her daughter had a very traumatic experience when she went to a school where they was abusing her. And it was in her documentary where she said, my mom sent me there. And it took them years of trying to figure that out. Now, mind you, in that documentary, Kathy was not shown in a flattering light. She was shown in a realistic light. She was kooky, but she's also was a woman who inadvertently traumatized her own daughter, by making some decisions that she felt like that Paris was acting in a way that may embarrass the family. So what she did was she sent her off to a school, or maybe she should have checked a little deeper, because when she sent to that school, Paris was totally traumatized. So when people look at that documentary, you get a lot of answers there, because in the middle there's the truth. Now Lisa is a habitual liar, allegedly, and in my opinion. Okay. All right. We're not gonna get Miss Diva in trouble over here, but no, none of that stuff. But you can the records and the shows would show what I'm saying is true. But I think that but I also think too, Kathy Hilton is a question mark, but my answers come from her daughter, and it's in that documentary, and it's a 2-hour documentary, and it's very complex. So yes, she is kooky, and she does love Marjorie, and she does love hunky dory and all that kind of stuff. But she also has a side that can be hurtful, and her daughter said it. So
Yeah, and that's telling, right? So who said Kate said, trust me, Bravo has a tape of Kathy's alleged breakdown. I feel that way. I really do. I feel that way. And listen, Erika said, listen, people in the club saw it. She said people saw what happened. So Kathy can't deny this. I mean, people may not be talking at this moment, but I think eventually, they said what happens in the dark will come to light. And I think eventually everything is going to start to come out in bits and pieces. If Lisa Rinna would have kept it under wraps, there would have been nothing for anybody to dig up. But because Lisa Rinna decided not to stay silent, she wasn't going to be silenced by Kathy. It's out there, and there's going to be some digging. Yes. There is a tape. There's a tape. Kathy definitely had a meltdown, but I do feel that Rinna embellished a bit. But here's the thing, right? I understand everybody saying that Rinna embellished, but here's my problem with that, right? The text messages from Kathy were pretty telling, right? She said, let me see, did I write this text message down? She said, please do not say anything we discussed. Otherwise, it will make a huge scene that everyone gets dragged into. She said, no bueno. Otherwise, don't do it. Okay. She said, please, it goes further than you would want to know. Silence is golden. This is what Kathy sent to Rinna. She said, I'm staying silent. Okay. But then they show where Kathy went on Instagram, act like she didn't have no breakdown, said that they left her in the house alone. She just act like she was just totally innocent. I'm sorry, Rinna threw a glass. I can't see anything else. So she is psychotic. Rinna is definitely off her rocker. That's 100% true. Okay. Hey, everyone. Hey, listen, that's 100% true. Rinna is off her rocker, but I'm going to definitely say this. All I'm saying is it is not unbelievable to me that Kathy lost her stuff. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Right, Mel? Go ahead. What was you going to say?
No. I think that, listen, I think that, as I think when you were talking earlier, it just feels so hard, because it's like, who do we root for? We root for somebody who's a total question mark, or we root for somebody who we don't like, which is Lisa Rinna. I think that for me, the truth may be down the middle. Hopefully there is a tape. But I also think that, Lisa Rinna trying to play somebody's counselor, she can't even be Hannibal Lecter's counselor. Let's put it that way. That lady, no, he would be scared of her, basically. I think that, she's a hot mess. And it's just unfortunate that she has to be our narrator of what was happening. I wish that she would have, I just wish she would have gave that ball to some of the other ladies who were there, because it would have been a little more digestible for us to really have somebody else tell the truth, because allegedly there was other people watching it. So we needed them to push the narrative that, you were a little crazy at that club, Miss Kathy, and, we shouldn't. Yeah. So I don't know. They're
scared to talk, right? Because they was talking at the what is Pretty Mess hair party. They talked a little bit, but ST, you're in the building. What did you want to add to the conversation?
Hi, Diva. How are
Hey,
you?
I'm good. How are you?
This is like my second time ever speaking, but I just think what we do know is that when she got out of the van, she was okay. She was a little self-conscious about what she was wearing before they went into the Caribou. So something happened in between whatever blow up, whether it was a fight or not at her sister, something has to be true. There has to be something in terms of the DJ situation being true with Michael Jackson. And then someone brought up the fact that she had asked Kyle to do the moon dance. So she had Michael Jackson on her mind. And I don't know. I mean, and honestly, I repeat myself. Erika had to have known. And the reason why is just due to ethics and stuff, like a lawyer is not going to transfer that kind of money. I mean, he was an established lawyer, of course, with a well-known business. And so he's going to have his business account. I mean, no real lawyer would transfer that kind of money unless she knew, unless it was acceptable for him, to be able to do that. But that's all I really wanted to say. I just like to talk in the chat, writing.
Oh, no problem, no problem. I won't force you to say. Thank you for coming up and saying that. And what I will say to that really quickly is, there's a darker side to Tom. And that darker side concerns me. And I'm still on the fence about how much she knew and when she knew it. I really think that Erika, she kept saying how, oh, my marriage is intact, we're good, I've been married XYZ years, before we found out the whole scandal with all of them, right? I'm just leaning more towards that possibly maybe she did know, but what are you going to do with a heavyweight man that got a mouth like his that was lethal? Like I said, I feel like she was in a relationship that was, it wasn't a good, friendly, kind relationship. I think Tom was a beast. And listen, it takes some type of person to even take the money of your clients and not give it to them, right? That's just my thought. Let me read this real quick from Emmanuel. But Diva, do you think it could be possible that the silence is golden? Could be because she said something in a moment that she didn't mean, and Rinna used it as a weapon, and it hit Kathy later. It's a possibility. Thank you for the super sticker. I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. But see, here's the thing, right? Kathy, we gotta put this in there. Kathy lost her stuff in the hat store. They highly edited what happened in the hat store, which I think was brutal and beastly. If you remember, now this was not edited out. Do you remember when she went back to the bartender after Rinna poked the bear and ordered Kylie Jenner to kill her? Do you remember that Kathy walked up to the bartender and told her to put her to kill in the front? Because obviously she's the only one that's going to be able to promote her own tequila. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do.
So do you see what I'm saying? So that's why I don't understand why people feel it's so far-fetched that Kathy lost her stuff in the club when she clearly lost her stuff in the hat store.
You know what?
And she was pissed at Kyle. Go ahead, Mel.
No, you know what? I think I think that again is somewhere down the middle. So this is what I feel. I feel this. I feel that Kathy unfortunately went down the same road that Kim went down, where she thought that she can film with her sister friends, not hers, and that they would be a good time. Now, mind you, because they have a history together, Kathy, Cal, and Kim, that maybe Cal doesn't feel very comfortable with. Whenever Cal's sisters are around her and her friends, she punishes them. She punishes Kathy and she punishes Kim. So I think that Kathy was fed up. And I think that she did have these reactions as we're talking about. I think that her and Cal was like, okay, well, this is going to be where my liquor is going to be at. and Kyle didn't really follow through on what they discussed. I think that's sort of what I was hearing, that they had an understanding that her alcohol was going to be very prominently featured on this vacation. So whenever the woman was sort of putting it down or making fun of it, or saying, I want to drink the Kardashians' liquor, she was like, wait a minute, this is not what me and my sister discussed. And she had reactions. So that's why I'm saying, do I think that it was like this sort of like nuclear reaction? Like, did I think that Kathy was a step away from going to storm the Capitol? No. But I think that, no, I don't think let Rinna tell it. She was up there in the Capitol on January 6th. Allegedly, and in my opinion, but she was this crazy person. I don't think she was that way. I don't think she was foaming at the mouth, but I think that she was like, I'm so over my sister. We had to understand her before we came down here, and she thought she could vent to somebody like Rinna, but she realized that Rinna basically is the version of a tabloid. That whatever you tell her, she will use, manipulate, and just sort of just mess it all up, and she'll tell it the way she wants to. So I think that's what she was trying to say. You know, she was focusing on Rinna. Because why did she send that text to Rinna when other girls also saw her not acting the way that was very flattering to her? But she felt like Rinna was the more dangerous one that would, take it and just go crazy with it.
No, because Rinna heard the rant firsthand because she was in the car ride back with just Rinna.
Yeah.
And then so on, because nobody wanted to leave the club with Kathy. So the story, part of the story is, which we don't know is true or not true, but part of the story is that Kathy wanted to leave once she got pissed off. She went to Kyle. Kyle wouldn't take her home. Sutton wouldn't go home with Kathy. So that's when Rinna says she will go home with Kathy. And that's when she blasted off, I guess in the house or, wherever else she blasted off at. Because remember, Rinna went and hid in the room. So wait. Andrea said, this could be true, right? She said, I think both are true. Kathy is privileged and entitled and was mad from early in the day, and Rinna is a liar and is exaggerating. So two can be true. But hold on one second. Chester Cat, you're in the building. What would you like to add to this conversation?
Hi, Diva. I love you.
Hey.
On Sherelle's World. Thank you for opening up the panel tonight. I just wanted to say that I agree with Andrea in saying that both can exist at the same time. That was acting very entitled about the tequila. It's not like it isn't already loaded. This isn't Love and Hip Hop. She doesn't have to push Fashion Nova in order to make sure she doesn't have to pay for the clothes on her back.
Exactly.
So I don't really get what her hang up was about this tequila. I'm like, did you press it yourself, girl? I'm like, did you grow that? It was just funny seeing how much she had just a hang up over this tequila. I mean, she's eccentric as much as it is, that's the word we use for crazy rich people. But like, I just didn't understand what her hang up was. I did catch that. I think that the reason why she got so heated about the Kylie Jenner jab, which I think was intentional, is because the girls, including Kyle, were shading her last night. Everybody gets to hawk their junk on the show, and everybody's, oh, that's so luxurious. Oh, that's so chic. Oh, that's so pretty. As soon as Kathy breaks out the tequila, everyone's acting like, like it's like Crystal Palace vodka or something like that. Like they were kind of shading her. They didn't do that to Rinna. I think that that's just, sometimes they pick and choose who they want to make the butt of the jokes. And I think that maybe being in Kyle's house at her party, maybe Kathy felt like, why are all of these women in my own sister's house like having a lark with me? And then it didn't end there. It continued on in the bar when Rinna said really loud, oh, I want to try Kylie Jenner's tequila. And did you hear how they were like, yeah, I want to try Kylie Jenner's tequila? That cracked me up. That was like so sixth grade. But here's the thing.
It was.
But here's the thing about Rinna. Her lie pisses me off because of the lies that she implicated. If she wanted to say, oh, she was flipping out, she was jumping on her sunglasses, that's one thing. Implying that Kathy was making racist and homophobic comments is a completely different animal, especially when she came out last year saying, well, I don't see color because my best friend was Michael Jackson and he had vitiligo, or whatever she said last summer, just some weird thing that Kathy said. But I think that to say something like that is, I'm like, well, where would some of that come from? And the fact that Rinna can't back it up. There's no evidence. There's no receipts that she ever went there. Now we're talking about, what did you say about the other women? the story keeps changing from what we first heard. And the first story that we heard caught everybody's attention immediately. She said the N-word, she said the F-word. That is what caught everybody's attention initially on the story. And then since then, the story of what she has actually said has changed about 5 different times, getting further and further away every time from the most salacious thing that we've heard. That tells me that there's no evidence to back it up. Coupled with the fact that she probably didn't say it, coupled with the fact that it's Rinna. And what's this thing that I'm hearing now, that Rinna has always had a bone to pick with Kathy, allegedly. Rinna has had a bone to pick with Kathy because allegedly it was Kathy that told Garcelle that what Rinna said about not wanting her on the show, because she was worried that the presence of a Black woman on the show would automatically turn everything about race. It was Rinna that said that, and allegedly it was Kathy that went behind Rinna and told Garcelle. Kathy was the whistleblower. She's the one that told Garcelle that, and I guess allegedly Kyle told Rinna that her sister said that, and Rinna has had a bone to pick with Kathy ever since. So wouldn't it make, listen, I live in a predominantly white community. Trust me, I have been there dealing with other communities. They will use race as a way to try to bait a woman like me to get immediately up in arms and act like a pit bull with somebody. But you got to use discernment with these women. You got to be like, well, this seems a little bit weird. That doesn't sound like her. Does it sound like something that Kathy would say if she's claiming to be besties with Michael Jackson? Does that sound like something that she would say? Or does it sound like something that Rinna would say as a way to try to dog whistle the American public, which she's been guilty of doing before, to try to get all of us to go up against Kathy, to try to and have her play the victim? I had to lock myself in her room because this crazy Nazi was running around the house shouting the N-word. Oh, you poor woman.
So
Kathy's crazy rich woman just had to make you hide in your room. I don't believe it, Rinna. I think that you were trying to dog whistle us. I think that you don't have any respect for the Black community. I think that you've proven that. And I think that you were trying to dog whistle a bunch of Black folks to get to sick them on Kathy, because you had a personal bone to pick with her because she told on you when you were being your classic RACIST self. And that's all
they're loving you. They're loving you. The chat is loving you. So you know what? Listen, so I'm connecting and I'm understanding what you're saying. Oh yeah, they love you. They said mic drop. They said, come on now, amen. So so here's the thing though, right? I did hear pieces of the story that you're saying. And see, the thing is, this Aspen trip we heard about before the season even came on, right? So it kind of was like a spoiler for us. We heard about this Aspen trip. We heard Kathy made a mistake. She was trying to reach out to her husband, and she did it on social media saying, get me out of here, like, come get me. This is what I think. I think there's a lot more to what Kathy did than Kathy wants to admit and wants us to know and see. Kathy did not get on that jet. It was just a simple little, misunderstanding, breakdown, or whatever. You're going to stay behind. You're not going to just get on the jet to go home. They want you to say it again. Bravo. Okay. So I can connect to what you're saying, but I'm still saying that as guilty as sin as Lisa Rinna may be, I'm saying that Kathy Hilton in this particular situation, her hands not clean. Her hands are not clean. So all the lady stories are changing, but I feel like all the lady stories are changing because they all have been directed in some way, shape, or form to kind of shut their mouth. Okay. First, they were saying it was because it was some conga line that Kathy wanted them to do and they didn't do. Now they are all saying that there was an issue with the DJ, right? Because Crystal did a little shade in her confessional and said, that Kathy wanted the DJ to play Michael Jackson, Billie Jean, or whatever song she wanted to play. And Crystal said, don't everybody know in this day and age you don't ask for Michael Jackson to be played? So I was like, okay, was Michael Jackson cancer post death? So all of them are giving us sprinklings about the situation, but nobody wants to clearly come out and talk about the situation. When Kathy came to her sister's house, to Kyle's house, to apologize, the apology was all types of convoluted, right? She was saying sorry, but wouldn't say what she was saying sorry for. She said that she said some, bad things that she doesn't want to repeat, but she didn't want to say the things that she, actually said that were bad. It's this big illusion right now. There's pieces to the puzzle that are missing. I connect with you, but I'm still going to say, Kathy hands are not clean. Anybody want to add?
I definitely I can definitely add to that. I think that I don't think her hands are clean. When you say did she say all those things about how these other girls are peons and she's too good for them? Oh, I totally believe that she said something like that. I could totally see her getting angry and saying something like that because that's kind of how she acts, but she's just nice about it. She acts extremely entitled.
Yep.
So I would totally, does that mean that I believe that of the salacious stuff? Not really, because first of all, it's coming from Rinna. There's no proof of it. All these cameras and all these hot mics around, and they didn't catch nothing. The only way I could believe it is if Bravo really did try to bury the footage like as much as possible, but it's still. Even in the way that Kathy interacts with Garcelle and just her demeanor, I mean, I don't know. Say what you will about her kids, but I don't know. I guess I just kind of need proof as far as Kathy is concerned. But do I think that she was talking smack on the other woman? Absolutely. Do I think that she has some sort of canned lawyer apology in that scene? Absolutely. Do I think that she was seeing right through Kyle when Kyle was tearing up and going, I don't know why you could say those things about me. Why would you say just mean things about me? And Kathy just glared at her. She was basically, you know what that look on Kathy's face was? Mauricio. That's what her face was saying to Kyle. Mauricio, sis. Mauricio. You really want to know how I could say those things about you? Really, honey? Come on. She had that look on it like, really, Kyle?
Well, maybe Kathy still holds a grudge, right? That they went out and did their own thing. But let's be clear. Why would you want if I had a sister and initially, her husband had to work for my husband, but now they get this opportunity to go do their own thing. I'm really going to be that pissed.
Well, to put the caveat in that matter is that they didn't just go quote unquote do their own thing. Mauricio literally stole clients from Kathy's husband.
That's problematic.
I think he did create a little bit of a rift, not only in that business, in that professional relationship, but also in a family relationship. Like he literally like tried to stop Rick's bag. That's essentially what he did. He basically cock blocked Rick's bag. And he's like, and I think that he probably took that personally. And then all the clients ended up leaving Mauricio because he didn't know what the hell he was doing and went back to Rick. So if you don't think that that didn't create a little bit of as a source of contention between those two sisters, coupled with how Kathy might feel about how Kyle treated Kim on the show all these years. And then it seems as though she was trying to treat Kathy the exact same way, like almost babying her. But Kathy doesn't have a substance issue. Okay, she doesn't have a whole bunch of kids running around of all different ages from different men. No, she knows who the father of all her kids are, and she knows where they all are, and yeah, they're all on the same roof. Kim is a different animal from Kathy, but I think that Kathy might have handled Kim a little bit differently than Kyle did, and maybe she's got a bone to pick with that too. So I don't think that her hands are clean in this at all. I think that she had a bone. I don't think she liked how Rinna was getting at her, but I don't think I didn't like how Rinna was getting at her because Rinna was trying that soap opera bull crap that you're so angry and she's like, oh, your heart is so black. I would have gotten up and walked away about 5 minutes before that, but I'm glad that Kathy got
conversation. Rinna, this is what we got to get to Rinna. She knows how to do reality TV. She knows how to poke the bear. She's messy. She's messy. And I think because she knows also that, Bravo or Andy or whoever is not the happiest with her right now, I think that she doesn't even care what she does because she's determined, but she's not really the only one determined to bring this out. It's just that Rinna is being the bone collector and being the mouthpiece right now. But clearly, Erika said, let's talk about everybody's bad behavior. So, you know, and you're gonna, if you saw the previews for next week, they're pretty much are all, it's like it's divided now. It's like it's a clear divided line on whose side. I was shocked though, because you see, even Cherie spoke up at the Pretty Mess party and said that Kathy was not herself and not together, and how she was shaking outside of the hat store because she was so angry and pissed. Did you catch that? Cherie never talks, but did you catch her say that about Kathy?
I did. It seemed a little convenient.
Didn't it though? Didn't it though? Like, I'm gonna get in here with this group and I'm gonna say what piece of this I need to say. It was messy. It was, yeah. Somebody, Cherie, please. Yeah, Cherie is a day late and $1 short. Okay, she's trying to step up now, but girl, we only got one more episode left. You lost. You didn't do well. You should not come back next season as a friend of. Well, I'm done with you. I'm done with you. I don't know about anybody else, but the scene at Kyle's house was horrific. But Kathy was deflecting. She was clearly, trying to avoid stuff, and she was slick. She was slick when she wanted to throw in there. I don't doubt that maybe something is going on with the friend, but now you're doing no different than Lisa did to say that she cursed Sutton out because she was dealing with the death of her mother. And now, Kathy, that's what you're going to do? You lost your stuff because your girlfriend or your friend is going through cancer? Come on, Kathy.
That cracked me up. That reminded me of that scene from the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. Who was the one that started crying? And then Dorinda turned around and started crying. I'm like, ooh, she went and fucked Karen with Karen.
I didn't watch Girls Trip. Oh, it was Tamara?
Yeah, it was Tamara.
Oh my God, that was so fun. She's like, oh, I can cry on cue too, bitch.
But ST, did you want to add anything to the conversation?
No, what I think was interesting was that Lisa, I don't know if she did make this up. Like, I don't know if the racism claims or whatever came in after, because she's not saying it on camera. And I don't know if that's a reason, for her making, like, if that was the reason why she's not really trying to, like, really say it in front of the group and kind of get it out there. I don't know if next week maybe they're going to actually get into the details of what Kathy may have said or what she said. But I just think it's interesting that she hasn't brought up that part of whatever story she's spinning. How come that's not on camera at this point? And I just think it's funny that if it was racism claims, the group would be acting a certain type of way because it would be so outrageous. Like, they would have to be, politically correct on camera and just have this feeling that something more really dark was said. So I just think that's interesting that she hasn't, like, actually brought up that specific part on camera. And I don't know if that's because she knows that that's a bridge too far and she could get sued for saying that. I don't know. But I just think that's interesting. But Kathy sat there. She had to have said something dark because she sat there and let Lisa say, oh, you said you have a dark heart. You have, just making her, to be like she was crazy. Like, she literally had a breakdown. And so she must have had some kind of breakdown because she just sat there and took it when Lisa was talking to her that way.
Listen, I do believe there was a breakdown. I do believe it was major. And even Erika said that everybody in the club saw Kathy lose it. It's a big cover up going on. And somebody said that Kathy lawyered up, and I do believe that. Now, True and Blue, I'm going to be very honest with you. I never heard somebody use triple cancer before, but I was not an oncology nurse. So, but that was the first I heard triple cancer. But somebody else said to me, triple cancer is means it like it's very aggressive. I don't know. I never heard that before. I would have to truly look it up. But you know what? And maybe she means that the person is in stage 3, stage 4 cancer. I don't know. But again, what does that have to do? So now when we have bad news, we're allowed to act a monkey nut fool and just be crazy and just speak to people any old kind of way. And your excuse is because you're going through something. I have breast cancer. Triple negative cancer is very deadly. So maybe that's what she meant. And so, Andrea, and then breast cancer awareness month is next month, October. My mother is a breast cancer survivor. So I am glad, Andrea, that you recovered from it and made it through. So I don't know, stage 3 cancer, it spread. Somebody saying stage 3. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But again, so that gives you the right to just act crazy and act the fool. And again, the only reason why I'm leaning 100% towards Kathy did act a fool is because she darn near showed it when she was in the hat store. She showed how she can get down. And again, we didn't see the whole scene because they cut and chopped it up, but she snapped like that. As soon as that girl ordered that 818, whatever, to kill her, Kathy lost it. And she was so pissed that Kyle did not step in. And at the end of the day, y'all are adults. And Kyle cannot control another adult. If Rinna wants to be messy and order somebody else's to kill her, what was Kyle supposed to go over there and tell her? Oh, you're not right. You shouldn't have ordered that to kill her. Like, Kathy, calm down. And like someone else said, Kathy, you got a ton of money. I get it. You want to sell your product. But don't beat this girl up and feed into her negativity just because she's ordering another to kill her. Mel, did you have anything to add?
No, I think I think that I'm loving the chat. I'm agreeing with the chat. Listen, right now I feel like I'm chopped liver compared to you ladies. Y'all killing it right now. they listen. I was talking for 45 minutes and I didn't get the response. I'm like, you know what? I think I'm just like I'm listening right now. I'm really enjoying the conversation.
Right, and no problem. Listen, I didn't know, was Michael Jackson canceled?
Cancel Michael Jackson?
I think that the conversation started after that Oprah interview with those.
Oh, or no, there was a documentary before Oprah did the interview.
Yes, it was between both of those two boys on HBO. The HBO documentary and then Oprah, and the time that it came out, and it was right within the Me Too Time's Up momentum, and so Michael got swept up in that as well. So as a millennial, I can recall when those conversations started happening. I wasn't somebody who was maybe a couple generations older that may have missed those conversations, but like, no, I can remember. I have HBO Max, so I remember when the documentary came out. I watched it out of curiosity, but then I also remembered some of the background history of the two guys who were in it, and also the conversations about it being one-sided and all this other things. So there was a lot of conversation a lot of dust that was kicked up about those stories as a result of these two separate things. First with the documentary and then with the Oprah follow-up. So I think that that's where that came from. So now we have to be sensitive to people who may have been triggered from watching those things, and it got them thinking about things, and none of us really know. The truth of the matter is none of us, really know, and that's all that any of us can say. So if somebody does have a bone to pick with a story like that, in 2022, we have to be sensitive to it now, a lot more than we needed to, I guess, in the 90s or the early aughts, if that makes sense.
I agree with you. I did see the documentary also. I as you stated, I don't want to go down that path because it's a very sensitive topic.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So sometimes it's better to just put on Janet Jackson. She's not she's unproblematic.
but all I can say is it was a lot of smoke towards that situation. And all I don't want to set the people on fire here. I don't think every single last person was lying. That I'll just leave it like that. So and then also too that what is that Jeffrey Dahmer series on Netflix? A lot of people are in a uproar, like they are losing their mind. They want Netflix to take this series down off of Netflix. They're pissed off about it. And my thing is though, they're telling people to boycott it, don't watch it. But the thing is, these type of movies have been made all the time. I'm not quite sure why this particular one is really rubbing people the wrong way. I don't. Yeah.
This is Ryan Murphy, right? He's the same guy who did the assassination of Gianni Versace. I thought that was brilliant. I that one personally hit me home because Naomi Campbell was Gianni's muse. So if I grew up as a little black girl in the 90s loving Naomi, then I had to love Gianni because he put her on. He designed some of the most beautiful dresses in the world for her body, for her to wear. So I'm like, I can't love Naomi without loving Gianni, and I was heartbroken when he was killed. So I kind of follow Ryan Murphy's productions. I think what's so triggering about Dahmer is because, first of all, it's a very old story. We have thousands upon thousands of serial killers that are not given any attention for whatever reason in this country. So why this guy again? When we have biopic after biopic about him, we have crime investigation, forensic studies, documentaries upon documentaries about the crimes. It's like we can't ever get as far away from this dude. And why him in particular? And I think that there is a new. I'm 40 years old. All right, so I'm Gen Y. I've noticed that there is a new conversation that's particularly happening in Gen Y. We're sick of the what we like to call trauma porn. We're sick and tired of Black pain being sensationalized for public consumption. I did not watch Lovecraft Country. I know a lot of Black people and white people who loved it, but I was just over it at that point. There are a lot of great biopics about Black history that, frankly, at this point, at my age in 2022, being raised in a very proud to be Black household, I'm like, these movies ain't for me. I grew up reading about these stories all my life. Let another audience watch these stories. I'm through with it. I'm not sitting through another whipping scene. I'm not sitting through another Jim Crow era. The only time that they want to cast Black people in Hollywood is for some Jim Crow bullcrap where we're running from white people. I'm over it. My generation is over it. And I think that's the reason why a lot of people are really starting to reject these constant depictions of Black pain. And this is, and there's some intersectionality with Dahmer. There's Black pain and then there's gay pain. It's almost kind of like, I studied radio and TV broadcasting. I got my associates and then I got my bachelor's in electronic media production. So I did a lot of research on mass communication and also on programming and its various definitions, as well as psychological programming and trying to sway the American public to do certain things. So the timing, I look at the timing of things and I look at the message of things and I look at the implications of why they give oxygen to certain things. And, I think every once in a while, America likes to remind both the Black and the gay community, hey, just to remind you, this is one of our favorites. We let them get away with doing things to you and, tread lightly. We still have sundown towns in this country, so tread lightly. That's kind of what I think it's triggering people to feel. Like, why are you putting this up in our face again? This is an old movie. Where's the documentary about Richard Ramirez? Where's the documentary about this guy or this white serial killer, that white serial killer? I don't know. Maybe, I'm sure one of the producers might say, oh, this is to bring awareness that these things can happen. I'm like, yeah, but there's plenty of other things that we can become more aware of. Why do we need to give Dahmer more attention again? And why we got to kick up all these memories for all the victims of these men that were killed again? So I don't know. That's my thought.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but you know what? I personally didn't. I remember when this story actually happened in real time. I personally didn't realize it was that many documentaries and stories about him. This is actually probably the first one that I have seen.
Oh.
And I will say this, that I think they tried to take it from an approach where they humanized a couple of the victims. They couldn't do it all, right? Because it was 17 victims, where they humanized the victims, where they kind of told, the beginning of how perhaps, he turned out to be the way that he was.
Mhm.
And I felt that part of it was educational in the sense of, you got to watch, no matter who you are, you got to watch who you trust and who you perhaps go home with. And I kind of took it from that avenue. That's the way I took it. And I really felt like, especially the couple of victims that they did actually tell their story, I feel like they made them human, where when it all initially happened, they didn't.
Right.
It was just these 17 victims that he chopped up and he ate, and so forth and so on.
Right.
So sometimes I think that, I understand exactly what you're saying, but sometimes I think that when these particular people are making a movie, I don't think they think that deeply in it. And sometimes you really don't know what is going to become a hit and what's not. I don't think out the gate they thought like, oh, I'm going to do this movie and it's going to be like #1 in the country everywhere. I don't know. But I did watch it. I watched all 10 episodes, and I will say the first 5 are very hard to get through. Extremely hard to get through. And it was extremely hard to get through because like the neighbor that was so concerned, and 5 people could have probably been prevented, like their lives could have been saved had they listened to this woman, because it's still happening today. But now it's with transgender people, not the eating part, but the killing part.
Yeah,
it's a lot. Well, and you know what? I just saw too on Instagram that Dwayne Wade, right? His daughter, and forgive me if I'm not using the proper terminology, but his daughter, he said he had to turn off the comments on her Instagram because a lot of people were sending hate messages, which I was shocked about.
well,
But I guess, go ahead.
Not everybody these days is afraid of being called phobic, and I think that there might be a little bit of a stronger pushback of people, being tired of the labels. I might not feel that way. I'm not speaking for anybody. I'm just stating that these are, I read comment sections too. I see how people express themselves, and and that could be a reason why. It's very sad that because she's young. So getting all of that, getting a pile-on like that from, seemingly adults, it can be a lot for a young person too. And she didn't ask for her father to be famous. It is what it is. You want to have a social media page despite your parent being famous, but that makes you more susceptible to more public scrutiny. So it's like,
100%. 100% it does. And see, I think that what we all gotta kind of learn too is we kind of got to learn how to have a conversation, and then, address the conversation and not so much the person. People, when they don't like what they hear that comes out of your mouth, instead of having a conversation with you, they start attacking the actual person. And it's like, okay, hold on, wait a minute. Right. And so she's still, I don't even know, is she a teenager? I think she's probably if she's a teenager, she's what, like 13, 14, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, she's still very young, trying to figure out, her own life, and to be going through this transition, and then to have people in your comments just calling you all kinds of names. But the sad part is people are mean to you even when you're not, like, just in general. Sometimes people will get in the comments and say the most vile and vicious things, and it's like, you're saying this to a person that you don't even know. Could it really be this deep and serious?
Right.
But for some people it really is. And somebody said, right, Hollywood loves a slavery movie. You know what though? The other sad part about it is some people, even though these movies, everything is not in there is 100%, because they got to dramatize stuff so that they can make it a movie. But the history is not always 100% on point and accurate. But sadly and oddly enough, there are some people that they only get their history and their knowledge from some of these movies. They don't know the history without, you know, hearing some of it coming from these movies. And not to say that the movie is depicting history correctly, but some don't know it. I don't mind. This is me personally, and I get other people who may be triggered by it. I don't mind a mixture of these different movies. I just think do some of them go overboard? They do. But they don't bother me as much because I'm like, listen, it happened. It's hard to watch and it's sad to see, but the thing I think a lot of people need to understand, you know, some people in the community, what they need to understand is what was I going to say? Is that, you know, although the chains are broken, I think they still mentally, a lot of people are still chained. Harriet was written by an immigrant that gave a false narrative. Yeah, it was a good movie though.
And it was,
I love the woman that played her. What was her name? I forgot her name right now. But they did several Harriet movies. But the one I saw in the movie theater, I love the woman that I just love her because she played in The Color Purple on Broadway live, and she's an amazing actress. So I just happen to love her. But what was you gonna say, Jessica?
Oh, I think I forgot. No, you can go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I'm about to listen. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, you know, they're another one. Like, they give us a show. They give us a show, and these last couple of seasons, they definitely have been number one. Yes, thank you, Cynthia Erivo. I love her. I absolutely love her. And when she was on Broadway in The Color Purple, she did phenomenal. She's amazing. Matter of fact, I saw it 3 times. Just because I love seeing her. Niecy Nash was in what? What was Niecy Nash in?
She was in the Dahmer. She played the next door neighbor with the.
Oh yeah, she did. Oh, okay. We're jumping conversation. That's why I was like, what happened? Yeah, Niecy Nash played the neighbor, and she did well. Niecy Nash is a good actress because she also played in that movie When They See Us, right? With about the Central Park 5. And again, that was another movie that I didn't mind the making. It was hard to watch, but as a result, when I watch some of these movies, then I go Google to find out, because I know that the movie, they got to exaggerate some things, right? Then I go to Google to find out exactly like what happened, like, you know, what was the true story, or, you know, everything behind it. So for example, the Jeffrey Dahmer, I did not remember that until it happened in the movie. I forgot that someone took his life in jail. And so then I went and looked up the man that actually took his life in jail. And the way they depicted it in the movie, that this man took 2 people's lives, and now he's like got a triple or double sentence of life in prison or whatever. But I read about him. So I don't think that everyone that remakes these movies is all, about ill intent. I'll say that. But yes. So, you saw her too, Sin. Did you see her on Broadway? Like she has a voice on her too, Cynthia Erivo. That girl is amazing, amazing. I'm gonna try to see the piano lesson, right? Candy Burris play, and there was something else I was gonna try to go see. So we'll see. Diva. Oh no, I'm not on Twitter yet. I gotta get on Twitter. I am on Instagram. Cynthia said problematic things about American freedom. Really?
Yeah.
Native Black. She did?
I hate to break it to you. I was trying to bite my tongue because I know you like Cynthia, but she's a Nigerian and she was on Twitter, talking back to somebody. Now they weren't dragging her or anything, but she just felt that like she didn't like what they said, and she called them akata, which is basically Igbo for a wild animal, and that is a slur that Nigerians like to use for African Americans. So I already didn't like the fact that America also has a habit of hiring immigrants to star in stories about our people. And of all the people that they could hire to play in Color Purple, they hired a Nigerian who talks smack about Black Africans, which is what Harriet Tubman was. So I bit my tongue as much as I possibly could, but I'm glad somebody put it in the comments, child.
Are you serious? Really?
Listen,
That's sad.
I hate it, but the knowledge is power.
Yeah, knowledge is power, right? That is sad. Oh, wait, you got your tickets for pianos. I'm finally see Hamilton in October. How did you get tickets to Hamilton? Listen, I was, I tried for Hamilton so long when the original guy was still in it. But I'm not doing $500. I don't care who it is, what it is, and where they're at. I'm not doing five. Like, I got my limit on what I will pay, and I will pay two something. It's a live show, it's Broadway, and I know these actors and actresses, they work hard. But when you start to talk about $500 for one seat, and then somebody got to sit next to me, and it's $1,000 for one night of Broadway, I shall not. And every year for my birthday in March, I go until COVID hit. I go to see a show on Broadway. When I started saving my playbills, I think I had 50, and that's when I started saving them. But I wish I would have saved them from the very beginning. I have so many, but no, I got my limit. I'm not, and even with these concerts now, are you kidding me? I'm not paying $500-$600 to see nobody sing, and I don't care how much I love you. It's not going to happen. No, it won't. Not out of my pockets. And I don't want nobody else that I know to do it either. That's just insanity. I'll just wait to see it on somebody's TV or something like that. But I'm not spending, and then I got to pay the park when I get it's locally here in Baltimore. Well, I'm not that far. I mean, I could drive to Baltimore. My brother lives in the DMV area. But listen, guys, I love y'all. Do y'all want me to do Salt Lake City? I've been thinking about it. I'm not sure yet.
You can.
Yeah, okay, maybe I'll do Salt Lake City. And I gotta get back on my track of doing Love and Marriage Huntsville. I've been watching it. I just haven't had time to recap it. So so maybe I'll do I'm gonna get on Twitter. I keep saying that. I'm gonna get on Twitter. But you know what? I gotta catch up with even doing my Instagram and my my Facebook and all that. But I will get on Twitter. I'll think about seeing if I can add Salt Lake City into the program. I definitely want to bring back in what do you call it? Love and Marriage Huntsville. And I was thinking about with Smoke, we was going to go ahead and talk about the whole Jeffrey Dahmer story and, just what it meant and how so many people are upset about it. So we'll probably squeeze that in over the weekend. But guys, thank you for hanging in there with me. I'll see you next time. Yep, lovely. Gavin, it's late. I got to go.
Eva.
Guys, good night. Thanks for coming through. Bye, everyone. Don't forget to hit that like button on the way out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.